Good morning, Rabbi Westside. Leilu Nishmas Chaim Oren. First video comes from, I don't know who, but a very cute kid. I shouldn't have pushed that. Okay, let's see. I hope it works now. Okay, didn't work. Next. This is the Baltimore Seum. Let me just make sure that this works. Yeah, okay, good. Baltimore Seum. Shalom uvracha Eli Stefansky. Baruch Hashem, I started with my new chavrusa. I didn't get this whole email 100%. I can't say I understood it. Maybe now I'll understand it. One thing I know that this guy is learning with his son, but he has a chavrusa. Baruch Hashem, I started with my new chavrusa with whom I watch the shiur every day. Haryeh Valyav are giving each other the necessary push to continue fest. Hershey Krause, another one of those who joined, fell off the bandwagon, rejoined. Which Malach Chavrusa Shimi Weiss, in the yeshiva in his new home in Lakewood. He better mention this email to prove that he's still daffing. I'm sure somebody else will tell him. Attaches a picture of my chavrusa, Hershey learning the daf with his son. Hashtag teaching them young. All the best. Chakosh v'samech. Sruli Pesach. Staten Island, New York. Mesechus Megillah Daf Beis. Dear Belly, just a quick note to say thank you and to wish you and yours the greatest Yom Tov and Chas Shalom Shechas and Kam. The greatest thing about being part of MDY is learning that the Gemara we learn every day needs to enter not just our heads, but our hearts as well. We exemplify this midah, Shkoyach, Big Benched, Ahuv and Perry, Dubinsky, Miami. Joel Moskowitz. Hi, this is my father-in-law, Mr. Aryeh Newman from Montreal, Canada. He gets up every day, 5 a.m. to be able to be part of such an amazing shiur. A lot of people spell it like this, S-H-E-I-R. Shiur. As all the kids are involved in the movement, he made a big siyum with the whole family. It was a beautiful and inspiring event. Here he is. Mazel tov. The Koilel, sponsored by Anonymous from Lakewood. The Koilel, sponsored by Reuben Clyde and honor my daughter Aliza becoming a college Chaim from Toronto. Masechta, nobody. Leilu Nishmas Chaim Elefant. Chaim Ya'Yakov Shmuel Zechroin by his Westside friends. Leilu Nishmas Chaim the MDY Family. Leilu Nishmas Chaim Oren Zechroin Bracha ben ybl'c Chaim Eliyahu. Leilu Nishmas Chaim Bas Yosef. And that's about it for today. Today, right now, we are learning Daf Tes, which is the first day of Pesach. Not wearing a tie because it's not the first day of Pesach yet here in Chicago. Although those are watching it now, it's already Pesach. So I heard a beautiful Maisa, which I wrote down, but I don't think, oh, yeah, I did. Rabbi Aaron Polanski, the very, very big gadol in Eretz Yisrael, in Yerushalayim, and he had a yeshiva with tremendous Talmid Chachamim, and he came into the Beis Medrash a few days before Yontif, and he clapped on the beam. He says, Rabbi, we have a big problem. We have a bunch of almanas in the city, and they need people to help them out. Pasha, to help, shleb, do I have any volunteers? So of course, a bunch of guys raised their hands, and he said, okay, so come to me, I'm going to give you an address of an almana that, you could go and help. So the first guy comes and he gives him an address. It was his own address, his house. He says, your wife needs your help. She's a shtickle almana right now because you're in yeshiva learning. For a stranger, you're willing to go out there and help. Go home and help your own wife. So with that being said, we're here just a few days before Pesach, and everybody's here, and I'm wondering, why is this room so full? It's the same guys that were here a few hours ago, because the pshat is that your wives want you to work, so you had a choice. Either work or come, chas v'shalom, but yishkoyach for coming out here. It's really very nice. Wow, it's mamish. You came all the way from Deerfield. I'm a landsman in Deerfield. Still. Your wife told my wife she drove 7 times that day or something? MS? 7 times. Each way is what, 20 minutes? 25 minutes each direction, 7 times to bring the kids and pick up the kids. He's doing shlichus. He does what? To come to the Siyum, of course. No. So the Gadi Levi, who's Tomer Levi's brother, is doing kiruv in Deerfield, and that's the price that he pays. 7 times in one day. I hope not every day. So yishkoyach. Rabbi Yisrael, holding Daf Ches Amud Beis, in the middle of this is a continuation of the Mishnah. And we're learning about midah keneged midah, the fact that when a person acts a certain way, for good or for bad, if a person does an aveira, he can get paid back in the same way that he sinned. If a person does a mitzvah, he'll get paid back in the same way that he did the mitzvah. So 3 lines from the bottom of Amud Beis. We find almost every step of the way of the Sotah in the same way that she acted, HaKadosh Baruch Hu acts against her. She stood in front of her house to be shown to the Baal. The Kohen has her standing right over here, Sharni Corner, by the main door, on top of the 15 steps, representing Shir Malois. We know that's Sharni Corner, the main entrance, going to Hazara. So she stood by her doorway. We do the whole process by the doorway. He parcel. What's that? Klona, yeah. To embarrass her. He parcelized Sudarin al Reisha. She put some nice tichos on her head. Tentaisim lefichach koyin noitel kipa mal Reisha. Therefore, he takes her tichol or whatever it is from her head, and puts it by her feet. He kished the panel. She put on makeup on her face. Top of Amud Aleph lefichach panel marika is therefore her face becomes yellow, green. She put on eyeshadow lefichach enel boltais. One of the punishments is her eyes pop out. He kalala seara. She made up her hair. Lefichach kain soiser esara. This is one of the many places in Shas that you see that married women did not shave their heads; they had hair. Lefichach kain soiser esara. That's why the kain unbraids her braids. Here also Leib be'etzba. She showed him with the finger. She went like this to him. So her fingers explode. She put on a special belt for him. The Kohen, he cuts her clothing off in order for her shirt not to fall off. He ties a string above her chest, and it's like an ugly string, an ugly rope. He pashtaloi es yirecha. She exposed her thigh, therefore her thigh explodes. That's why her stomach explodes. She fed him all this food. Therefore, the carbon that she brings is the worst of the worst. It's the food of an animal which is made out of barley, which is very interesting because today, mamish today on Pesach, this is the day. The second day of Pesach, we bring the carbon oimer, which is also the oimer made out of barley. But the oimer, the mincha that she brings, is the only mincha in the world that's made out of barley flour. She gave him to drink the best wine in the best vessels. Lefichach. Mida keneged mida kayim mashke mayim hamorim b'mekida shel cheres, and it's a fire pot made out of earthenware. Terrible, the worst vessel you could find. He also saw b'seiser what she did. She was over in Aveira, in hiding. Yoshe b'seiser Eliyahu, the one who's in hiding, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, samba upon him. Shenemar beinoyev shomro nefshef leimor lo yisishureni oyin. You're not going to see the you won't be seen Dor Acher. So in other words, Yoshe b'seiser, she did a b'seiser. HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes in a comma. He comes directly. He does it himself. Dor Acher Yosef b'seiser Hamakar and Pirsimo Bagolui. She tried to be in hiding. HaKadosh Baruch Hu advertises it. Shenemar Tikaso Sino b'mashoin. She hid the Sino. It will be exposed, the evil will be exposed for the congregation. So yesterday, which is Daf Ches, for you guys, didn't exist yet. But the Gemara learns out from a pasuk that Hashem takes care, achas la'achas, each and every avera, nothing goes by. If so, kichol, sa'oin, soyin, barash, every measure, lamali. Isn't that the same thing? HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes care of each and everything. Says Gemara, absolutely not. L'kemida. The second pasuk is telling us not only that HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes revenge, so to speak, on every act and action that we do, but it's midah keneged midah. It comes from the same, just like we just saw all these things. She did this aveira, Hashem punished her like this. She did that, Hashem punished her like that. So too with us. You ran to do an aveira, you break your leg. Da, 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 da. Each thing has a midah keneged midah. But once we see HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes nekama, midah keneged midah, b'sasa b'shalchal tirivena lamali. So b'sasa is also a measure. B'shalcha, when you get rid of her, tirivena, contend with lamali. HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes revenge on a nation when he's done with them. When it's all over, when he decided that's it, they sinned and there's nothing, so then he gets rid of them in one shot. In other words, they're all gone. If they're all gone, what happens? What happened to Mitzrayim? They're all gone. According to this, when we left Mitzrayim and Hashem decided, okay, that's it. I'm done with the Mitzrayim. So he got rid of every single Mitzri. So how many Mitzrayim are left today based on this? 0. This is Mamish in MDY Family last night, talking about Yitzis Mitzrayim, Eini, Vomarova, Shleisha Koises Hamurs b'Mitzrayim Lama, which is unbelievable. Also talking about the Dalet Koises. This says 3 Koises. Barashim Psachim says this is how we learn the idea of the Dalet Koises. It says in one pasuk, Kois para b'yadi. Here you see it says 3 times v'kois. Anavim, talking about the Sarah Mashkim, Sarah Oifim. This is the Sarah Mashkim. I squeezed out the wine. Why the 3? So again, it's unbelievable, no? In MDY Family, we're sitting here, kiss from Hashem, sitting here, the first day of Yantiv. Us in America, we won't be able to watch this because we have 2-day Yantiv, but in Eretz Yisrael they'll be watching this year. And this is, Rashi says, this is the Makar for Daled Kaisis. This pasuk right here. And he says, and where's the 4th one? Oh, it only says 3. The 4th one is Birkas Hamazon, he says. Where Meilach Biderman says, well, what's Pshat? The Daled Kaisis from this pasuk, from a Sarah Mashkim, a bad guy, a guy. And he says, beautiful. He says, the Geula came from a fly. That's all HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs. It started from a fly. Fly went in, he got punished, he met Yosef. That's how things happen. From the smallest, from something that's, you think that it has nothing, it doesn't have any soul, who cares about a fly? No. The fly, the dead fly, that's where the Geula came from, and that's what this pasuk is being meramis to us. But we learn in Navi, a kais yayin, a kais means a calamity, some sort of tzara. And it's talking about the Mitzrayim. The Mitzrayim had 3 tzaras. And this is going to be a question on what we just said. If we say that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes revenge of the nation, the entire nation disappears, so then we have a problem. Why? Because it says that there's 3 kaises. This is the one that we're celebrating today on Pesach. Yitzias Mitzrayim. Nebuchadnezzar, he destroyed Mitzrayim. And in the future, in the time of Mashiach, they're going to get another calamity. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give them another Zetz. So what do you see? You see that the Mitzrayim still exist. He has to get rid of them in the time of Mashiach. Nebuchadnezzar got rid of a bunch of them. Maybe he'll say, you know, the Mitzrayim that were in the time of Klal Yisrael, in the Shibud Mitzrayim, they're gone. A new nation developed, and that's who Nebuchadnezzar took care of. That's who HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take care of in the time of Mashiach. That can't be. There was a ger by the name of Minyamin. She says, look, I converted, and I want to make sure that my children, the future generations, could just marry into the Jewish nation. There's a problem. A Mitzri needs to wait for 3 generations to come in. So what am I going to do? I'm already a 2nd generation Mitzri. V'nasasi Mitzris Rishayna. V'asi b'ni l'Mitzri, v'asi l'vni Mitzri Shniya. And I'm going to marry off my son to somebody that has the same holding as him. Me and my wife, we're the same. My son is going to marry somebody that's the same generation as him in Mitzri, and therefore their children will be free to go and free to marry Yidden. My grandson will be able to marry it. So what do you see? Binyamin is saying, I'm from Mitzrayim. Don't tell me it's a new nation. I'm from the original Mitzrayim that Hashem said you can't marry for 3 generations. So again, it's a kasha if you say that Hakadosh Baruch Hu takes care of the nation and destroys them all, you see that they have leftovers. And Hakadosh Baruch Hu nifra min hamelech achas shilucha. Hakadosh Baruch Hu takes care of a king all the way at the end when he's done with him. Not a nation, but a king. Says differently. I'm Hashem, I didn't change. And you, the Jews, the sons of Yaakov, you were never destroyed. He says, I never punished a nation twice. I hit them once and that's it. I will punish Klal Yisrael with arrows, and my ammunition will finish. I won't have any left. V'hein Eilam Kolin, and Klal Yisrael will never be destroyed. When Hakadosh Baruch Hu takes care of a Rasha, he allows him to fulfill all his taivas. He lets him go. He's not going to take care of him, doesn't destroy him, doesn't take him away from this world until he fulfills his taivas. Shenemar, M'loi sipkoi yetzer loi. Dorj Rav Bar Papa. Ma'ilasiv ranenu tzadikim Hashem. The tzadikim will sing to Hashem, la'isharim novasila. If I was in RBS now, we'd have a whole niggin, but you guys don't like to sing that much, so we'll just leave it as is. La'isharim, 10 o'clock at night, la'isharim novasihila. Novasihila. Sila is a praise, Nova, it's a fitting praise, La'isharim, to the righteous, to the ones that are straight, Nova Sila. Says the Gemara, Atikri Nova Sila, Elo Nove Sila. The palace will have praise, that what? Moshe and David had something special. What they built, the non-Jews weren't able to conquer and take away with them. Anything valuable, precious metals, etc., disappeared. If it was Moshe Rabbeinu, if it was David HaMelech, what they built, the Goyim never stole, never took away. T'chsiv, Tavu v'aretz shareah. By David HaMelech, Ir David, the famous Ir David, Rashi says. I'm taking from Rashi. The Ir David that we have, I guess what they have today, sunk. Anything valuable went into the ground, the Goyim couldn't take. Moshe, what about Moshe Rabbeinu? Domar Mar, Meshenivna Mikdash Rishon Nignaz Oil Moed. Once the first Beis Hamikdash was built, then the Oil Moed that they had in the Midbar was Nignaz. It just disappeared. It was buried. Kroshav, Uvrichav, V'Amudav, V'Adonov. All the parts, the beams, the hooks, all that stuff went into the ground. It disappeared. Heicha, where did it go? Omar Chizda, Omar Avimi. Tachas mechilois shel heichal. There are tunnels underneath the Beis Hamikdash. That's where it went. It's a fascinating story. You can look it up online. I didn't have a whole lot of time to look it up, but I did find the story that I was looking for. And basically, there was a Rav by the name of Rav Getz. He was the rabbi of the Kotel, a famous Rav of the Kotel. Here he is. And he decided that he's going to dig tunnels underneath the kotel and try to find the Oren and the things that the Gemara here mentions. These things. Listen, the Gemara says there's tunnels underneath the Beis HaMikdash. I know where the Beis HaMikdash is pretty much. Let me go under there and find it. And in fact, he dug and dug. And this is based on diggings that the British, I forgot his name already, one of those guys, he found a lot of stuff. So here he is in this tunnel. And lo and behold, he sees from a distance a box that looks like the size of the Oren with a blue blanket over it, like a tchelas blanket. And he decided that's it. That's the Oren. He went and he got a letter from Ravad Yosef and maybe Rav Shlomo Goren. I don't remember exactly who the other one, but I know Ravad Yosef was one of them. Can I go further and go to the Oren? And they told him, yes. You got a psak halacha. So he went to the mikvah, and his guys went to the mikvah, and they're ready to go down. So they go into the tunnel. Ma'aseh Shaya. As they're going into the tunnel, a bunch of Arabs come down with these ropes, dozens of them, with axes and swords. So he pulls out his gun. He had a gun. He said, I'm going to start killing you guys. It was a whole thing. And he started saying Shemois and Kabbalah, and because he was the Rosh Yeshiva of the Mekubalim, and the Arabs disappeared. This is in the 80s. But he went home, and he told his wife, I think this is a sign from Hashem that I shouldn't go any further. So he didn't go further. This is a true story, by saying. Approximately 10 years ago, there's a thing in Eretz Yisrael that a lot of times, like they don't let you talk about stuff in the media. If there's a terrorist attack, whatever, they'll tell you. They put what is it called? A gag order. Thank you. They censor it. It's a gag order. The gag order was removed 10 years ago, and it was revealed that those Arabs that came down into the thing were not Arabs. They were Jews. They were the Shabak, and they wanted to prevent them from going further. I don't know the exact reason why. But they pretended they were Arabs. They tried to scare him off, and it worked. Anyway, so he never went there. And in fact, what he did was he built a concrete wall right where it was. But here, there's one picture. There's a bunch of pictures online. You can see him digging and going and the guns, the whole thing. This is it. Anyway, just thought it's interesting. Maisa right here. Tachas mechilos shel heichal. This happened. The oil mayid was buried under the tunnels under the Heichal. Tanur Rabban. We are holding 3 lines from the bottom of Daf Tes. Remind me maybe in the middle, like to tell you where I'm at, because Amud Beis is ginormous and people get lost. We don't have in the base marriage we have or on YouTube it shows you where it is. We used to have in the base marriage a finger that goes through the daf one day. I think there's a very big yisoid in life. This Sotah wanted a man that doesn't belong to her. She couldn't have him. Mashe biksha, that which she desired, lo nitan la. We learned 3 psukim that tell us she's usher to her husband, usher to the boil, and usher betruma. So this guy that she desired, she can never marry for the rest of her life, even if her husband divorces her. Mashe biksha lo nitan la. And that which she had, she's going to lose. Either she's going to drink the water, she's going to explode, or her husband's going to give her a divorce, but she's not going to have her husband. She can't go back to either one of them. Says the Gemara, and it's yisoid for us. When you put your eyes on something that's not yours, another person's car, house, whatever it is, that which you desire, you don't achieve, you don't get. And your car and your house that you have, they might take that away as well. Daf Tes, Amud Beis. Oh, thank you. I didn't start it at all. So at least that Amud Beis. Wow. Okay, it's a good thing we have. What's your name again, Sadik? I forgot your name. Daniel what? Barzili. Thank you for coming every day with the camera and backing us up here. David Barzili. So the Daf Amud Beis, LeAliyat Leib, Simcha Sheine Mashe, Bad Bracha and LeAliyat magid shiur, the members of the HBA Group and their families. Amen. So Baruch Hashem, this is, as you can see, there's a Gadata, so it's smooth sailing. It's very easy stuff. We see by the Nachash with Adam Arishon and Chava. He wanted Chava. Says Rashi, he actually had relations with Chava, and that which he wanted, he never achieved. He wanted to destroy him. His plan was to give Adam Arishon from Eitz Hadas to kill Adam Arishon and marry Chava. That didn't work out for him. He was supposed to be the king of all animals, and now he's the cursed one. I don't know if this is true, but I think many people have an aversion, like they can't stand snakes. Snakes is like one of the, it grosses a lot of people out. You go to the zoo, you want to look at the monkeys, the lions. Comes to the snake, I don't know if this is true. At least for me, I could stand them. It's like a little, I don't know, something about a snake. The snake used to walk upright. There's nothing worse. The snake doesn't have feet. His whole body slithers on the ground. He's going to eat human food. He'll eat nothing, dirt. He wanted to kill Adam Rishon. To put big fight and distance between you and the woman and her descendants. We find the same thing in Cain. Hevel was born with twin sisters. In other words, two sisters. Cain was only born with one, and we know that they married their sisters. There's no other choice in those days. Cain was jealous. He wanted the two. Then what happened? He got nothing. He got cursed. Korach wanted to be a Kohen. We know what happened to him. He ended up deep in the ground. Bilam wanted a lot of money from Balak. He got nothing. Doeg, he was a tremendous gadol in Torah, and he's jealous of David HaMelech's Torah. He got nothing. He also wanted to rule in time of David, of course, and he got nothing. He got Tzaras, I think. Gechazi. He wanted the money of Naaman, even though Elisha told him, don't take money from him. He lied to him. He said, to give me the money. Kids, he got nothing. Avshalom, we all know the story of Avshalom, David HaMelech's son, who wanted to be the king instead of his father, and he ended up dying. Adoniyahu wanted Avishag, and who was from David, worked for David, but Shlomo at the end ended up killing his brother, I guess. Uziyahu, and Uziyahu. So Uziyahu was a king, and he wanted also to be a Kohen, and he got Saras. Haman, we know the story with Haman. He wanted to kill the Jews. What happened to him? He was hung. All these 10 guys, I think it's 10, they all wanted something that wasn't them. For them, Mashe Bikshu, what they wanted, they didn't get. And even their own lives and everything else, that Mehem was removed from them. The Sotah, she blows up by she started with her thigh. Says Gemara Banana, immediately where you see this in the pasuk. It says first her thigh, and then your stomach. But there's a pasuk that says the opposite. The stomach comes first. When the Kohen curses, first he curses about the thigh, then he talks about the stomach. But the water, it goes into the body. First comes first. What comes first? The stomach. Then comes the thigh. But even in the klala, it says lisvay's bottom and lamp yarech. The first, the stomach, and then the thigh. Says the betem bereisha of adi yarech. Because the kohen, he wants to tell you, by the way, she's going to explode first by the stomach, then the thigh. Listen to this, Rabbi Sai. An amazing thing happens here. I don't know. I think this is incredible. I didn't really see anybody talk about it, but it says it here in the Gemara. Listen to this. If a person hears the kohen saying that the thigh will explode and then the stomach will come and not be kairos and say, look, this woman, she exploded, but not because she drank the mayim amarim, not because she had some sort of disease. You know why? Because her thigh exploded before her stomach. So the Kohen says, no, I'm telling you, first comes the stomach, then comes the thigh. This is how it's going to happen. Even though I'm cursing the thigh before the stomach, you should know the stomach is going to explode first. Why? People shouldn't say, it was the reverse order of what the Kohen said. He wasn't even right. Can you imagine such a thing? That's the koyach of the Yetzer Hara. You see something supernatural. It's above teva. A woman explodes. But she exploded stomach first, thigh second. That's not what the Kohen said. The Kohen said thigh first, stomach second. I don't believe in this anymore. No, I'm not going to do tshuva when I see this. Yeah, he messed up. So in order for that not to happen, the Kohen has to repeat himself and say, no, you should know, you're right, the klala goes thigh and then stomach, but she's going to explode stomach then thigh. Okay, whatever that means. It's unbelievable. The bottom line is, I forgot, I was just talking to the guys in the Kohen, I said, I don't believe that story. So that story is true. What was it about? I don't remember. I don't know, something. Let's say you saw a Sotah. Let's say you saw the Chidah saying a few words to this woman. It was Mizana, and as she walks out of the basement, she drops dead. Wouldn't that be a problem for our what's the word I'm looking for? Not Nisayan, not B'tachan. Our b'chira. It's a problem with our b'chira. No, if you saw such a big nace in front of your eyes, now you're gonna have a problem with b'chira. You saw Kosh Baruch Hu Mamish doing a nace. He said, absolutely not. People forget about these things in 10 seconds. And here you see in 1 second. The Kohen says, I'm going to show you this woman is going to explode, but she exploded in the wrong way, so Mela doesn't even work for him. He has no problem. He's still an apikairos. Okay. Says the Mishnah. Shimshin holach achareinov. So we must preface this Mishnah by saying that Shimshin HaGibor, a lot of people look down at him. They say, he married a Plishti and he got punished and his eyes and this. But we have to understand that Shimshin HaGibor was a giant of a person. He was a shayfet. So we don't even understand in these things. It happens to be that he made a few minor mistakes and he got punished for those mistakes, yes. But in terms of his greatness, he was a great human being. He was a shayfet. So says the Mishnah, Shimshin holach achar einov lefichach nikru plishtim eseinov. Again, we're continuing with the idea of midah keneged midah. And the Mishnah is sponsored by official Leilu Nishmas Avram Menashe ben Chana Bracha, Avi Mendelbaum Zechron Bracha. Shimshin holach achar einov lefichach nikru plishtim eseinov. Since he sinned with his eyes, we're going to get into it a lot more. So the plishtim ended up poking out his eyes. Sheine zu plishtim benakru eseinov. Lefichach nikru plishtim eseinov. Yeah, okay. Does anybody know what Shimshin HaGibor's mother's name was? There must be one guy that knows. He's looking at. Right. How do you know? Slofanis. You? Daf Yomi. Very nice. Okay. It's one of those names that not a lot of people know. Avshalom, David HaMelech's son, Nizga B'Sara. He loved his hair. He spoke about his hair a lot. Why did he have a lot of hair, Rabbi Isai? We learned about it. Because he was a Nazir. Lefichach Nitla B'Sara. So his demise was he died by his hair getting caught in the tree, and that's how he died. His father, when he left, his father put the 10 pilakshim, how do you say in English? Concubines. Panovich, concubine. I'm not even going to try to say it again. Pilakshim. Erase, top, cut. Okay. Whew. So he left the 10 pilakshim over there, and Avshalom came, and he was mizana with them. So therefore, if I can't read well, it's because I'm not seeing so well this time of the night. Lunvaniyos, I think it says there. What? Lunviyos. So he took 10. He got 10 spears, 10 soldiers. Each one had a spear. Put 10 spears in him. Shenemar Yisayva Noshim Noisei Klei Yoyov. Okay, each spear against one of the pilakshim. So what happened was a famous story. Avshalom went to his father and says, "Listen, do me a favor. Give me your 2 best people. Let me get some of your people. No problem. Write me a letter that I could take any 2 people I want." He wrote him a nice letter. Stempel the whole thing. So Avshalom went to 2 people. He says, "I want you to come on my team." No problem. They came on the team. My father said. Then he went to another 2 people. My father said. And he went to 200 people like that. And he got 200 people on his team. The best of the best. All the heads of the Bezdin and the giants of Klal Yisrael. And that's how he went to war against his own father. So he stole 3 gnevos. Leiv Aviv, the heart of his father. The Leiv Bezdin, he fooled Bezdin, the Leiv Yisrael, and he tricked Klal Yisrael. Vayganev Avshalom is Leiv Anshi Yisrael. Levichach. And therefore, he got 3 spears in his heart. Shenemar, I'm not sure how he lived through, because first he got the 3 spears, then he got the 10 spears. If he was exactly alive, it seems like he was alive when he got the 10. Otherwise, what good is 10 in a dead body? Okay. You should know, says the Mishnah. It's not only when a person does wrong, like Avshalom did wrong with the 10 bilakshim, he got 10 punishments. Certainly, Mida Toiva Meruba, Mida Piranos, it's a lot more than Mida Toiva. So if a person does a mitzvah, Hashem pays back in the same way. Miriam imtina l'Moshe shah achas. Miriam waited for Moshe Rabbeinu by the yard to see what's going to happen to him for one moment. Shenemar, if you do a quick cheshbon, very quick calculation, 7 days times 24 hours times 60 minutes divided by 500, you're not going to believe it. 500 times 20 is how much? That's how many minutes there are in 7 days. So in other words, Miriam watched Moshe Rabbeinu for 20 minutes based on this Gemara. If you do the calculation of Meruba Mida Toiva Mida Piranius, the good is that much better. So it's 500 times. I think that's what it means. That's what they say, a quick cheshbon. She was watching her brother for 20 minutes. It makes sense. Not for 10 seconds. 20 minutes. So Klal Yisrael, when she had tzaras, and we just finished Nazir, we know tzaras lasts for how long? If a person, right, you have to wait 7 days of tahara. So they waited patiently until she was able to come back into the camp because of that one time that she waited for her brother for 20 minutes. I'm just saying 20 minutes. If it's not true, it's not true, but it sounds good. Yosef Zachalik Vasaviv, Yosef Tzadik buried Yaakov Avinu. He was the king. He was the greatest one in terms of stature. Shenemar, Yosef Vasaviv. So because Yosef Tzadik took care of Yaakov Avinu, who took care of Yosef? Moshe, the greatest of the great. Moshe Zachalik Yosef, and he's the greatest in Klal Yisrael. Moshe Yosef. We're holding smack in the middle of the Amud, if you're looking for where we are. Buried Moshe Rabbeinu. So it goes like this. Yosef took care of Yaakov Avinu, so Moshe took care of Yosef's body. Moshe Rabbeinu took care of Yosef's body, so who took care of Moshe Rabbeinu? HaKadosh Baruch himself. Hashem buried Moshe Rabbeinu. Not only Moshe Rabbeinu does Hashem take care of, now he doesn't bury tzaddikim, but when a tzaddik is nifter, he takes his neshama by himself and takes care of the neshama. Shenemar, K'void Hashem, Yasfecha, Hashem will gather you. Tana Rabbana. We're by the Gemara, which says Gemara. Shimshon bein of Marad. Shimshon at Agibor, he rebelled with his eyes. Shenemar, V'yom Shimshon alaviv, Oisakachli. he saw a goya, he saw a plishti, he says, I want to marry her. With his eyes, he sinned, so the plishtim took an come in his eyes. And he asked the Gemara, he didn't sin. Who gave him the taiva for this goya? Hashem did it. He had no control. Hashem wanted him to marry a plishti so that he could go within the plishtim and fight the plishtim single-handedly and destroy them from within. So that's Hashem's idea, not his. Says Gemara, you're right. It was Aveira Lishma. That's one of the Aveiras Lishma. A person sins Lishma, but many say that even though they were goyim, but they all converted, so it wasn't mamish sin. Okay, we're not going to get into that part. Yeah, Hashem made him go, but at the end of the day, there was a little bit of a shmek. It smelled a little bit of an avera. He had his own personal agenda there, his own personal taiva, and for that, he got punished. Tanya, Rebbe Yomer Tchilas Kikuli Ba'aza. So Shimshon married 3 goyos. The first one, says the Gemara, the kilkul happened in Aza. At the end, the third one in Aza. So that's why he got punished in Aza. Some say it's not even a zoyna, it just means she was in charge of the food. The first woman he married was in Timnah. So why are you saying that the kilkul, where it started going bad, was in Aza? Where he married that Goya, but she converted, everything was good. He had a good relationship, it was regular marriage, but the kilkul happened in Aza. The famous Delilah that he married, who took him down. Tanya, Rebbe Yomer, Ilmalai, Loinikra Shema Delilah. Even if her name, we see this in Shas all the time, that the Shema Kagarim, the name of a person has a lot of meaning behind how the person acts. Says Rebbe, I don't need her to be called Delilah. Even without that, I would call her myself, on my own. That's her name. That's her mahus. That's who she is. She's a Delilah. Delilah means to cut short. Delilah. Didala, as Koichai, she cut down his strength. Didala, as Liboy, she cut his heart. Didala, as Masav, his actions. Didala, as Koichai, she took down his strength. She took his strength. Didala, as Liboy, his heart. She saw that he told her his entire heart. Didala, as Masav, because of her, Hakadosh Baruch Hu left him. He didn't know that Hashem left him. Says Rashi, he lied to her many times. She kept on asking him, where do you have your strength? Where does it come from? I drink a lot of Gatorade. This, that, different stuff. So all of a sudden, when he said, because I have long hair, now she goes, ooh, I believe you. Why? Omer Rav Chonin, Omer Rav Nikorn Divrei Emes. Many times in life, you find out one piece of information about a certain person, you go, now it makes sense. And Yeshiva he said this, and then they did that. The whole story. Once she said those words, bam, everything made sense. The whole puzzle, everything fit in. The here, you don't drink wine, you're a nazir. Oh, naricha. She knew that he's not going to swear falsely. Even the Omar Nazir Ali Kimani, I'm a Nazir. Omar Hashta Vade Kushta Kamar. He for sure is not lying. She caused him pain with her words. She forced him basically. How did she force him? They were mamish at the end of the act, relations, and she moved away. So it caused him a lot of pain. So Mela, he was forced to tell her at that point. That's how she forced him. Says the Gemara, so Slal Funis, the mother, all of a sudden a Malch comes to him and says, listen, you're going to have a child. His name is going to be Shimshon. Has to be a Nazir. And he tells her, you have to be careful. Right now in your pregnancy, Don't drink wine. V'sheichar. V'al toichli kol tameh. Don't eat anything tameh. Says Gemara, Michael tameh. What does this mean? What is it? V'suad hashed dvarim tameim ka'achla. She's Jewish. She doesn't eat things that are tameh. So why is the malach telling her, warning her, don't eat anything tameh? So Rashi says, even water that you soak grapes in, it's like grape water. It's really water. Shouldn't be also for a nazir. It just has a little bit of a grape that's soaked there. Even that she wasn't allowed to drink while she was pregnant. You see, I think an amazing thing here, and we say this a lot, and we just spoke about it the other day, that, and this is like based on what the Vilna Gaon says too, that if you want to build a shul, that nobody will ever think any foreign thought during davening. It will be the most pure tefillah ever. So you need to build a shul with a hammer that was made by a Jew, and etc. etc. It basically has to be Jewish work with the right thoughts as you build the building, the whole thing. You see the same thing over here. Shimshon, not only from the moment that he was born, but throughout the entire pregnancy, she had to have the right attitude, the right thing. She couldn't eat certain foods because the pregnancy is also very important. They say, like, I don't know, some people, women who in the pregnancy shouldn't go to the zoo, different things, like they shouldn't talk, not nivel peh, because all these things that women do while they're pregnant have an effect on the baby. You see this here? Don't drink water that touched grapes. Even that, don't drink while you're pregnant. You know, today we see it, don't drink alcohol when you're pregnant. Don't smoke when you're pregnant. It has an effect on the baby.
When I built the bells, the bells of revenue was there every day. We had that Aryeh work there, part like actively.
The big base manager in Yerushalayim? But it was all Jewish labor? Or
it was all Jewish labor. But he had
no, they say, so Gadi is saying that the Belzer Belzerov, they call him the Belzerov, I think. Belzerov, he had the Avreichim work physically in the base measures. Beautiful thing. But they say that it should be, if you want to be on the next level, it should be all Jewish help. Don't involve any non-Jews in the base measures. If you want to have that next level. First of all, matzahs are also done basically by all Jews. And I said this in Pesachim because I'm doing Chazar in Pesachim. In the Satmar bakeries, Jewish women back then, they were like almanas and the older Russian ladies. Today, I think it's Beis Yaakov girls that they bring in, and sometimes you have men that do it. There's an inyan of having Jewish labor, but it's about going to the source, going even before a kid is born, having like it's not a good mashal, but the Gemara says about the paraduma, they would bring these women that give birth on these on the slime and just bring up these children that will do the paraduma. Everything was b'tahara from day one. It's a whole different level when it's from day one, and even before day one. Where am I? Yeah, we said that. So the famous story when Shimshon, he was fighting the Plishtim. At one time, he took the jawbone of a donkey and he killed 1,000 Plishtim with it. Or is it the very Rabbi who evil the dover tame? He wanted this Goya, so his life was dependent on a non-kosher animal. Because what happened? Let me see if the Gemara says it. I thought the Gemara says Mefurish, but basically what happened, Rashi says that he became very thirsty. Fighting 1,000 people is very, very tiring. To the point, what? Rashi says it? Yeah, Rashi for sure said, okay, I thought maybe it's the Gemara. Yeah, so he became so tired to the point that he was going to die. So he asked Hashem for water, and out came, Rashi even says, out came water from the place where the tooth was missing in the jawbone. But it's obviously not a good thing for him. To me, I'm thirsty, I don't care where it comes from. But it's a water fountain, so it comes from a jaw. No, it's a punishment. You sinned with a Goya. You wanted a Goya, you're gonna get a drink from the jaw. I mean, the water could have came right out of the ground. Hashem could have made a nest from anything. No, it came out from the jaw of a donkey to show him. What comes around goes around. You're gonna sin in this, I'm gonna pay you back in that. V'atocha ruach Hashem. Omer Rebbe Chama Rebbe Chanina. Cholsa nevuah Yaakov Avinu. The nevuah of Yaakov Avinu was fulfilled. The chsiv Yihi don nochash ali derech. The family b'machane don. Orizlik the Beir Reb Ami Melamed Shoyis Shechina Mikashkeshes Lefonav Kizug. The Shechina went in front of Shimshon Agibar like a bell, rang like a bell wherever he went. By the Kohen Gadol, it also says Pamim Brima, and he also had bells. Bein Sor Ben Eshtol. Interesting. These are, if you ever go to Eretz Yisrael, these are places right by Bet Shemesh. Sora and Eshtol. That's what they say. That the whole story with David HaMelech and Goliath right over there. There were two mountains, great mountains, and he took them and he ground them down. We're just going to do this. Avimelech made a shvuah to Avram that they're not going to fight. But he broke his promise with Shimshon. His descendants, the Plishtim, went after Shimshon. They made a shvuah that they're not going to fight. But since he broke his promise, so Shimshon had a right to fight them and to kill them. Westside, have a wonderful day and a good moyed. Shkoyach.